welcome back to another episode of the Elevated Chat Room. Elevate your mind, elevate your life. Man, I'm so glad to be back. It's your host, Lonzo Jones. My guy, Dwayne Malone, once again, my co-host that don't seem like he really like to host that much with your boy anymore. He in the background. You'll hear his voice from time to time, working the cameras, doing his thing, working the sound. Now, we got some guests with us tonight from Span. I'm going to let them say all the stuff about Span because I'm going to mess it up. But before I go to them, I'm going to let you know what the topic is. The topic for tonight is Empowering Futures, how Span is changing lives in Alabama. Did I say that right? Span? All right, I want to make sure I got it right. So we got Mr. Anthony Brooks.
That's me.
We got Miss Shakeeta Johnson.
Good evening.
And we got Miss Nina Miles Keenum.
Hello.
Tonight. I'm going to let you guys kind of introduce yourself more, kind of, you know what I'm saying, let the crowd know who you are. We're just going to vibe tonight. Go ahead.
Sure. My name is Anthony Brooks. I'm the team leader at the SPAN program. And SPAN is an acronym for Special Programming for Achievement Network. We're a program that works with court adjudicated students, and we just want to help them be successful. And I am the lower on the end of the totem pole. These are the superstars right here. So I have the honor of working with them every day.
I am Shakeeta Johnson. I am a counselor at the SPAN program. I've been with the program now for about 7 years. Absolutely love it. We're just trying to help these teens be better for their community, for their family, for their school, and for their future. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, we thank y'all for joining us tonight. It's gonna be a good episode. I like that. Y'all get settled in. Miss Nina, let them know what you do.
Hi, my name is Nina Miles Keenum, and I'm a representative of the teachers at SPEN program. I'm one of two teachers at the SPEN program, and I've been there for 15 years.
So how long has the program been around? You got 15 years you throwing out. How long the program been around?
Well, the program itself, once upon a time, the program was called the CITY program, and that stands for Community Intensive Treatment for Youth. The program started and was founded by a gentleman by the name of Ed Ernest.
Okay.
Ed Ernest has since passed away. I don't remember when it was. I think it was 2005 or whatever. He passed away about a year and a half before I came on board to work for the CITY program. And it evolved about 13, 14 years ago to the SPAN program. And we're housed under the Department of Youth Services. So, that's pretty much what we are. We've been in existence for over 40 years. So I like to call us the best kept secret in the state when it comes to working with young people.
I like that because, like you said, if I didn't know you or Shakeeta, I probably wouldn't know nothing about SPAN myself or that it even exists. So let me go ahead and hit you guys with the first question we got on the sheet tonight. How does your program empower young people to reach their full potential? Anybody can answer.
Now, that's delicious. That's a great question, by the way.
Well, eat it up then.
We actually have what we do is something that's very special. We have been very fortunate in Lauderdale to serve the county and the city school systems.
Okay.
In doing that, we serve both superintendents. At the same time, we serve the court system. So any judge on that seat, we're there to work with the judge and the juvenile probation office as well. But the very special thing that we're able to do is to keep the students, to keep them on their educational levels, to assist them with their educational journeys, as well as work with some of the behaviors that have been harming them in the past or they've been dealing with in the past. And I think that's why it's so important to have our counseling representative and our teaching representative as well. I'll pitch it over to Ms. Johnson and let her kind of explain how the counseling aspect of what we do kind of assists us in helping and helping the young people achieve.
All right, Ms. Johnson, take over.
So one of our mottos is serving the whole child. So it is not, we take from the foundation of the counseling aspect and the academic aspect, but then meet any need that they have through our local partnerships. So the family needs assistance with utilities. The family needs assistance with housing or transportation. We are a buffer. We are a bridge to other resources to make sure that every aspect of this child's needs are met. So that is why we work so diligently with our partners and other community members because we're only one component. Like, we do what we do, but we can't do it as well as we do without your help to make sure that this whole child's needs is serviced.
That's good. I like that.
Absolutely. And if that is the counseling side, the academic side, which I was not that good academically. So I was a C student, I could see my grades, but Miss Miles is pretty much the individual that's over our academics. And I'll let her share a little bit about how that works.
So the way the educational component works at SPEN program, when we receive a referral from the court system, we contact the student's base school system, which would be Florence City Schools or Lauderdale County Schools, and based on students' grades and schedule, we facilitate, okay? Their educational progress has been facilitated by teachers at SPEN program, and we keep them on track of their academics.
Okay.
So if the student is in 10th grade, we facilitate the schedule of a 10th grader. 9th grade, we facilitate 9th grade curriculum. And we are in constant communication with school systems about their schedule, the grades, because we house the student during the school hours. So we kind of take place of the traditional school setting and we replace with our SPEN educational experience.
Gotcha.
Which is a little bit different than regular school. Our classroom looks like a computer lab. Everybody's working independently. They are on their own pace based on their individual needs, which will be like a 7th grader or a senior. Everybody's in the same classroom.
Gotcha.
And the teachers at SPEN program, we are more like facilitators. But we also teach not just the educational component, we also facilitate their behaviors. We assess for their other educational needs, which would be different emotional needs. We try to identify the barriers that stand in their way of becoming a successful student.
So y'all are working on the whole student.
We do. We work on the whole student. It's not just academics. It's not just the behavior. It's a component.
That's good. And that's what they need because, we see that through our nonprofits. Like, hey, like some of the kids, they would be very smart, educationally sound. They're smart and got good grades, but they lack social skills. They don't have the common sense, or just little things, just like teaching them how to cook, teaching them about, hygiene. It's a lot of different things that go into it, even about financing and budgeting and credit and all these different things. So it's like we're trying to make you the best version of yourself in a totality. And I like that's what you guys seem like what you guys are doing as well. How many students you guys have at a given time? Is it like they get enrolled at a certain time or is always continually enrolling? How does that work?
Ooh, man, we are at work all the time. So we are a 12-month program.
Okay.
And the most students we've served on any given year was around 125. Wow. We do not serve that many students anymore. Simply because I feel like we have a better opportunity of reaching more students to reach their needs when we have smaller groups.
Yes.
So our aim is to hit around 60 to 75 students per year right now.
So at one point, what you're telling me is y'all were doubled. Y'all were at capacity times 2. And I think sometimes we feel like, oh, the more numbers, the better. But like you said, it was like, no, we realized that once we got to those numbers, like, whoa, we're not as impactful.
Absolutely.
We're not as effective.
Absolutely.
It may look good on paper that we got these numbers, but when it's all said and done, are we really reaching these kids?
Right.
So that's good, man. And that's an uncommon thing for a person to be like, man, you know what? We don't need the numbers.
Right.
Because pride steps in like, nah, man, we want all the numbers we can get.
Right.
We're trying to be the biggest program we can possibly be. But like you said, you lose yourself in it and then you start losing kids.
Absolutely.
And if you are about the right thing, then it's about the kids.
Right. We want that. We want success to happen for every kid that comes through the doors. So once we saw, okay, this is not as effective with this many kids.
Yeah.
So we grew from 125 to 60 is the way I look at it.
I like that.
Yeah. We're able to help.
Boy, this man right here know what he's talking about, man. I'm telling y'all, this is the elevated chat room. Elevate your mind. Elevate your life.
Escalate.
Well,
let's just get in the elevator. There it is.
All right, so let me ask you guys this. What role does community involvement play in your efforts? What role does a community play in the efforts of you guys reaching your target audience?
So you talked earlier about teaching the basic life skills. That is what we're about to, in serving that whole child and meeting all their underlying needs. So we partner with local banks. We partner with therapists. We partner with community businessmen and entrepreneurs. To each week or each day, each student has group counseling. And that is when the local facilitators from all walks of life and professionals come in and speak to our students on the different topics that directly affect them where they are. And the group counseling is set up in a safe space, confidentiality, respect, support in that, and so that we can get to the nitty-gritty of why we're here. What are you struggling with? Oh, this facilitator is coming to talk about anger, and this guy actually was in prison before. And who better to tell you about your life choices and your decisions and how they negatively affect you than a felon? So we open up the forum to community leaders and those that can just relate to the students to make sure that we're addressing every component that would affect them so that they can have the tools needed to overcome those barriers.
Man, that sounds good. I mean, y'all are very intentional, I can tell. Like, that was the word that came out, intentional. Like you said, you pinpointing, you bringing in the right people for the right person. If he's dealing with this, oh, go get this guy.
Right.
If he's dealing with that, let's partner with this person in the community. So the community is, y'all programmers pretty much like function at a higher level with the community backing you, correct?
Absolutely.
See, I don't think people realize, like they may see a program, flourishing, but if you're not on the inside, you have no idea how much help
Absolutely.
A nonprofit has received from the community. Because I know with this right here, there's no way we would be, the room wouldn't look like it looked, the building. Man, when we got this building back in 2020, when I tell you it was cobwebs, spiders, rusted ceiling, rain, had messing tiles up. Man, this whole building has pretty much been redone. And it's all because of the community.
Yeah. And this building in itself, I remember Ms. Miles has been here as long as I have, and I remember when this building was a resource for teachers. The teachers would actually come here, and this was called what was it called?
Depot?
Teachers Depot, where they would send out an email, hey, I need all the teachers to come over, and they would stock this place with pencils, pens, everything that the teachers would need for back to school to give to the students. So we've been in this building. We've been on these floors. I mean, for years, we were walking up and down these floors and we were like, oh, this place is about to fall in. But hey, I get the pencils. I'm going to get the pencil sharpener, But absolutely. So, and community is everything. I love the saying that, how much work we would get done if nobody cared who got the credit.
Yes, sir.
Well, that is so true. If we truly look at that statement, that is so true when it doesn't matter if they get it over here, if they get it over there, if they get it from the janitor.
Yeah.
We have janitors in our building right now, SRO officers in our building right now that make an impact on those kids. And so if that makes an impact on the kids, we want to use it. We want to utilize it. So community is everything. And we have to embody that. We have to go to bar mitzvahs, Sweet 16 parties, basketball games, baptisms, because we have to show the kids that they are worth something to us.
Yeah. And it's like, there's a quote that says something like, you can tell them how much you care all day, but you must show them first.
Absolutely.
Because you can sit here and talk all day about how much you care, but are you showing me?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't care how much you know until they know that you care.
Absolutely.
And so, and like you said, man, and that's building relationships. And see, when you build relationships, now you got that trust.
Mm-hmm.
Now they'll start opening up. Now they'll start, telling you their secrets, their dreams, their goals, their visions, their plans,
right?
All these different things. And then guess what? You got the resources.
Absolutely.
Oh, you want to do this? Oh, okay, well then go over here with so-and-so. I played ball with him in college and he training right now and he'll train you and we'll make sure everything's taken care of. Oh, I want to be a hairstylist. I want to be a doctor, teacher, lawyer, whatever it is. We got the resources.
Right.
We may not have the answers, but we connected somebody that got the answer.
There you go. There you go. When I think about Mr. Malone, he is that guy I know a guy.
Yes, sir.
He's that guy.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, we need a car. I know a guy. Hey, man, we need something to eat. I know somebody that got a restaurant. I know a guy.
Yeah.
So it's so important to have those types of people who make those relationships and have those connections and aren't afraid to go and meet people and to find it. You know, when it comes to helping young people, man, it's usually about the adult. And I don't care how bad the kid's situation is. If you have a caring adult, somebody that's willing to say, hey, it's my decision every day to make that kid understand that I care for them. To let that student understand, hey, man, you are important. The most important person in this world right now is you. I'm looking you dead in your eyes. I want you to know that you and your life and your future and your success is important. So when I see kids, I don't just see kids. I see those kids' kids, and I see those kids' kids' kids. And many times since I've been here over 20 years, I see their mothers and I see their fathers and I see their cousins and I see their family members coming through the system sometimes. And I want to stop those generational issues, but it starts with one person.
Yeah.
All it takes is one person to say, good morning. How you doing? That's a decision. Hey, man, you okay today? That's a decision. If we treat them like we're the police all the time, then they will act the same way we treat them.
Yeah, you have to be intentional. And we went to Leeton Elementary School today, and the topic was basically being a kindness hero. And we were just talking about being kind. Like when you're kind, it makes you feel special, loved, wanted, that you belong, accepted, appreciated, and safe. And so once you can show someone kindness, it breaks down those barriers that they have. You know what I'm saying? So now they can kind of relax a little bit. It's like, you know what? Let's start building this relationship. But if you coming in there with a certain face, you don't ever smile, you ain't saying good morning, you ain't never complimenting them, they don't want to open up to you just like everybody else in their mind. Show them something different. Show them what love really looks like. That unconditional love where there's no judge. Because look, I already know why you in here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to judge you. This is like I said, that safe place that you create. And you have to do that. And that's in every relationship, whether it's with your at the span or at your house.
Yeah.
You got to have a safe place for people to be able to open up and be vulnerable.
That's right.
Like if I can't be vulnerable with you, then man, we got a problem.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we got on that, but it was good though.
We went there.
Anybody else want to comment on that particular question before we move on?
What was the question?
The community. What is community?
Community. We was talking about community and how it affects you guys' role. What role the community plays.
Without our community, we couldn't do our job. Okay, because we have so many organizations and businesses and partnerships that helps us on a daily basis. And we're all in this together. We're just with the kids. But we got so many people behind us that support us financially by providing services, by providing resources for our students.
Okay. So
community is extremely important. And we're blessed to live in this area and to have such a wonderful supportive local community.
That's good. This may not even be on the sheet tonight, but how do you guys reach out and connect to people in the community? You guys just phone calls, emails, texts, like how does that work? How do you build these relationships with people in the community?
So the man with the plan, he is, our common theme at work is, all right, Mr. Brooks is about to go out and shake hands and kiss babies.
Okay, yeah.
So yes, that's the political term, but no, he is really doing what he needs to do to connect
he loves the kids.
To connect us to the people, to the resources, to the demographics that will meet the needs of our kids. And he doesn't meet a stranger. He's going to speak to everybody. He may be at this meeting for one thing, but then hears that this person could benefit our program or benefit our livelihood. And he's going to make those connections. He's going to be who he is in every aspect. And without him, we have good personalities, but you have to go above and beyond to meet these relationships and to connect with these people and get outside of your comfort zone and not care about, we're nonpartisan at SPAN, because because none of that matters. Like, it is about serving the kids. So no matter what side of the fence you're on, what side of the card you're on, love them or leave them, we don't care. If you're here to benefit these children, then we want to connect with you. And he sets that standard for us, that bar for us. And then when he sets the foundation, we just continue the relationships. Like she said, we literally can't do our job without those connections. Like, I'm literally on the phone on a given day with between 1 and 5 people with one kid.
One kid.
With one kid, I could have talked to at least 5 different partners about this one kid.
Wow.
That's from the therapist. That's from the JPO. That's from the parent. That's from the school system. That's from, depending on what they need, that may be from the DMV, whatever is needed for that child on a given day. I could be on the phone with at least 5 people trying to connect and make sure all that kid's needs are being met. DHR.
That sounds really fulfilling.
It is. It's
like,
rewarding.
People ask, like, I don't get paid at the Rescue Project.
Yeah.
And people think I'm doing this full time. I'm like, no, bro. Like, this is just something God has blessed me with. Like, this is part of my purpose. Like, but it fulfills me. Like, so when you're saying that, I was like, man, like, doing all that, you have no choice but to be fulfilled.
Right.
And it's like, God, I thank you for giving me an opportunity to be able to change a kid's life.
Right.
And we don't change every kid's life. We know that. You know, so we go into a room and it's 300 kids and we talking to, we know all 300 ain't finna get what we saying. But our job is going to sow the seeds, and we just do that. You know, so, but it's so powerful to hear you guys speak with the passion that you talk about. Like, even when she was saying what you do, going out in the community, meeting people and trying to raise funds and building these connections, these networking and trying to get sponsorships and partnerships. Like, Dwayne be doing that. And I'd be like, bro, yeah, you got it. You special. Because everybody can't do that.
Right.
Everybody's not built for that. You know, just like there's different roles that everybody has to play. You know, everybody's not MJ. You know, everybody's not going to be Scotty.
Right.
Everybody's not going to be Dennis Rodman. Everybody's got a role to play. Like, everybody is great at doing what they do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You'll never be the greatest copycat. You know what I'm saying? You only can be the greatest you. Right. But yeah, community, very important. Building relationships and just continue to build those relationships and create that and closing that gap between the student and the problem.
You know, one of the most dangerous things, piggyback on what you just said, one of the most dangerous things you can ever get to is thinking that you are the pie rather than just the slice of it. I always say this, man, you know, I could be here and gone tomorrow. The span's going to still be there.
True.
Somebody's going to still be here at Rescue Me. Somebody's going to continue to carry on what we're doing. So I do stress, you know, with my team, because I'm very protective of them. I want them to make sure that they're okay, because we don't need hurt kids to be hurt any further. True. I want to make sure that they are all right. Hey, man, you guys okay? You spend some time with your family. Yeah. Go on vacation. Okay, y'all, have a good time. Bye. I love you. Okay, y'all be good. You good? Are you good? Are you okay? Because I see a lot of situations where people are totally burnt out.
Yes.
And they really don't belong in the positions that they once had passion for.
Yes.
I remember he said one time, what do you do when you lose the passion, but you still need the paycheck? I think that's where a lot of people are.
Oh, yes.
Is the passion is gone. The thrill is gone.
Yes, sir.
But the work still has to be done. Well, that's not fair to this kid. It's not fair to this kid's family. It's not fair to everyone who's attached to this young person. And it continues a cycle that could be stopped with a decision. And the decision starts with us.
That's good. I like that. I'm going to move on to the next question here. It says, can you explain how education is tailored to meet each student's needs? You kind of hit on that earlier with the counseling and all that kind of stuff, but if you can, go into a little bit more detail about how the education is tailored to each child.
Okay.
And make sure you hold the mic so we can hear you.
I got it. So, like I said, this is out of my comfort zone. I will hold the classroom down. This is what Mr. Brooks is. The students that we serve, right, they're either academically behind in credits or because of the attendance or other issues, or they're on track, but they're not doing really well at school setting, regular school setting. So when we assess our students and their needs, we try to figure out what is the best way to serve the students and figure out the approach for any particular student, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
So some of the techniques that we use in our SPAN classroom is we have a very small group. That's a plus for any educational component. If you have a small group of students and ratio of student to teacher, it's a benefit. So our students do have that benefit,
Okay.
a small teacher to student ratio. Other aspect, we also promote not just the curriculum teaching, we promote critical thinking, and we really strive to give the students the desire for lifelong learning, and take responsibility for their own learning. So kind of like reverse the role, take a focus from the teacher and put it on the student. You're in charge of your destiny. You're in charge of the education. I'm just a carrier of knowledge. I can give you the rules, the classroom rules. I can teach you how to work the problems, how to read the novel. But it's up to you to take it and absorb it and apply it to your life to be successful. And majority of our kids have so many issues that stand in their way of becoming a success. So we try to teach them that even though you don't have control over situations in your life, your home life, the other aspects, you can still have control over something, and let that be your education, that you completed your lesson today, that you've done a problem in math and you figured out on your own. So kind of also give them that sense of joy of accomplishment and pride. So that's what we try to do in the classroom. And of course, we do have to teach the curriculum based on their standards, and we do have to report the grades. But another advantage we have at SPEN program, we assess students every morning when they come in. Was like, so-and-so doesn't look right.
Gotcha.
There's something's going on. So we instantly communicate with the counselor. Hey, this one has something on his mind, or she has something she's worrying about. So help us.
Yeah.
So the student can be successful in the classroom. So in that connection between a teacher and the counselor, that's also a way to success for a student. So not just academics, not just the curriculum, but also social, emotional learning and student well-being is our main concern in the classroom.
Well, sounds good. So with these students, do you see like a change in their grades for most students? Is it a gradual change, or just something that just clicks with them? Like, how do you gauge that? Like, is there like, as far as the change in their behavior? Well, let's just talk about education, changing their grades. Do you normally see a upswing in that?
I would like to say that we have a wonderful success rate, but we strive, and every victory is a major victory for us. Somebody finished 3 lessons a day, or somebody raised their grade from a D to a C. That's a victory. That's a success.
Right.
So it's the way you define success. So we have students that are truant, and if the student comes to school every day for 5 days a week, we throw them a party. Because that's a huge success for the student that hasn't been to school in a week.
Yeah.
So you find little successes.
Right.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it sounds like you reward progress.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's I can see that being good. Because even like on your weight loss journey, when people are trying to lose weight, they always want to focus on the results, but focus on the progress.
Yes.
Like, pat yourself on the back that you got up 2 weeks straight to go work out.
Right.
You made it. See, one thing about working out, and even with grades, you may not see that change immediately. But if you continue to work with a spirit of excellence and be consistent, that consistency will reward you. So if I get up every morning at 4 o'clock to hit the gym, sooner or later, somebody gonna be able to tell that I've been hitting the gym. You see what I'm saying? If I'm eating right, it may not see no difference in 2 months. But you look up 3-4 months down the road, it's like, dang, girl, you losing a little weight, ain't you? You know what I'm saying? So being consistent and just sticking to it. And I think that's something that I'm pretty sure you guys are instilling in them, because you got to be on them. Because I'm pretty sure if they are not getting it here, that next place is probably not a good destination. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so yeah, any other comments on that?
Well, one of our goals is to give the kids the picture, plan, and prepare them and help them pursue for their future. And in the way that we do that also is their incentives. We have an incentive program. We call it the store. Each week, how they do academically in the classroom, how they do in counseling sessions, and just how they are progressing. They get paid through points. And then they are able to cash those points in at the end of the week. Well, what does that do? That parallels real life. You get a job, you work and do what you're supposed to do during the week. You get paid, you get a paycheck. Well, this is the parallel for them to head on into adult life even. But one of the biggest things that we have going, man, is we are partners with the school system as well. And the school system is so good. Both the county and the city school system is so good at assisting us and getting us everything that we need when it comes to different software, and they're involving us in their trainings, and they come over to help the kid transition back into the school system, because 99.9% of the students we have return to the school system.
Okay.
So we don't have a graduation, we have a completion ceremony, and then we end up doing a follow-up with those students to make sure and ensure that they're doing well in school. So we never leave. Once you're connected with us, you're connected for good. We'll see you in Walmart 20 years later with your kids, you know. So once you connect with us, we're family from then on.
Well, see, that's so powerful. And then that's one thing that's not common with a lot of programs. It's kind of like once you age out or once you graduate, you know, hey, it is what it is now. You can try to make a effort to stay in contact, but it's just because you got so many kids that's just continue to come in, and you want to stay present with the ones you're, you know, currently serving. And so sometimes once they leave, it's like, man, hey, if you ever need me, holler at me. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much all you can offer them. But that's good that you guys are connected pretty much, you know what I'm saying, through life. That doesn't happen too often. So that's pretty, man, y'all got a great program that y'all got going over there. And what's it called?
SPAN.
What it stand for?
Special Programming for Achievement Network.
One more
Special
time.
Programming for Achievement Network. SPAN, not to be confused with spam. That's the lunch meat.
Well, there's a lot of spamming going on too.
That's so true. That's so true, man. So true.
All right, look, that boy crazy though. Y'all got to watch out for AB. See, I call him AB. I've been doing it for some years now.
That's okay.
The man's talented, man, and tonight you're seeing. Well, I'm seeing a different side of him. You know what I'm saying? No, serious. Because most of the time when we always kikiing, laughing, having a good time, doing some acting together, just cutting up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But now I see a side of him where it's like, man, he's showing me his heart for kids.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and because I've never been around in that atmosphere, so it's pretty cool to see that the other side of you, man. Big ups, man.
Well,
Keep
it's
it up,
good to see that side of you too.
This man's silly. All right, so here we go. How do you support families in addition to the youth? How do you support the families in addition to the youth?
I guess I'll take that one. They both looked at me because oftentimes lately with the demographic of students that we have, I find myself counseling the parents with the child.
That's good, though.
Because in order for our children to be successful, there has to be a solid family.
Come on.
Dysfunctional family directly affects the success of the child. So if I'm trying to serve this whole child, I got to deal with you. So how is your substance abuse treatment going? How is your relationships going with so-and-so? How is your mental health going? How are you grieving? Because when you're whole, they can be whole, and you're the example. And where I just came into their life, you've been in their life 14, 15 years, and I'm trying to convince them of a different way when you've already shown them a way. So let me help you be great so you can be great for them.
That's good.
So it's a huge component. Like she said, that with the issues, we're trying to meet a deficit right now in the classroom and when they enroll in our program. But for them to be successful long term, we got to go to the family unit and see how that's being impacted, how that's being structured. We got a lot of single family households. We got a lot of grandparents raising children. We have a lot of non-traditional households and adopted families. So we find ourselves encouraging and implementing parenting skills and disciplinary measures to get the child to make more sound decisions, but also to support that family so that that child can be great.
That's good. Like, we talk about it quite often. Like, we can sit here and talk to these kids, have sessions with these kids, but if they're going home to the same environment,
right,
and us and the parents are not on the same page, or whoever was raising them is not on the same page, bro, you find an uphill battle.
Right.
And it makes it harder, but you still got to continue to push through and still got sow your seeds and talk with these kids and have these sessions. But it's like, hey, we need to get your mom and your dad in here.
Right.
And a lot of times what I've seen is that these parents literally don't know no better.
They genuinely don't.
They think the way they're raising their kids is the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and that's common because even like when I was growing up, like one of my homeboys, you know, like when I was in college, we would go home for the weekend sometimes, and when we would get back, all the guys was like, "Hey, bro, what you and your mama do? Hey, how your mama doing?" And all this kind of stuff. I was like, "Bro, I got a dad too."
Oh wow!
Like they didn't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what was normal to me wasn't normal to them, and so as I've grown, I've learned to not make my normal your normal. Because like, and when you start doing that, you start looking down on people. You start thinking you're better than people, or on the opposite side, you start thinking you're less than because he grew up with his mom and his dad. You know what I'm saying? So it's different complexes that comes with that. So I agree with you. Like counseling on parents, man, you're a soldier because I know you had to tell them some stuff that they don't want to hear. I mean, real talk.
I do, because if you don't deal with it now, these cycles are going to continue. And if you really want little Johnny's behaviors or attitude or academics to change, let's start with some stability. Let's start with the basics. Do you have somewhere to live? Do you have transportation? Do you have a consistent job? Those are the basics.
Mm-hmm.
And those foundations is what is going to help that child thrive. I mean, it's been proven. So without it, maybe you didn't know any better, but the more open and the rapport is not just with the child. I'm finding I got to build that rapport and trust with the parent too. Because oftentimes if you're teaching their child a different way, you become the enemy. Mm-hmm. You become the problem. And who does Miss Johnson think she is? And it just becomes a cycle. And all I'm trying to do is help. I'm trying to help you be great so the child can be great.
And see, one thing is this, like, and I used to the point where I just have to challenge parents or whoever the individual is, like, look, what you're doing is not working. And I'm saying this with as much respect as I can.
Right, genuine.
But look at where your child is at and look at where we're trying to go. Mm-hmm. So obviously what you're doing, for whatever reason, it's not working. So let's just try something new. Right. Try something different. Right. You know, and just let's just see how it works out. Right, you know, hey.
What's the worst that can happen? Right. They're already in the court system, right?
So, and that's my thing is like, but like I said, parents, and there's sometimes the pride kicks in. It's like, well, man, that's my child. That's my son. Mm-hmm. You know, and I coach both my boys in sports. Mm-hmm. And I had to learn to get to a point where it's like letting somebody else tell me what to tell my kids. Like I do a lot of training with my boys in baseball, especially hitting with them being young. And my oldest boy, he was in like a funk as far as not line driving the ball. He was making contact, but he kept rolling over, hitting weak ground balls. And one of the dads was in the stands. He was like, "Hey, look, you need to tell him to get his hands back further. He's only swinging with his hands, so that's why he's getting to the ball so quick." And I was like, "Bet, thank you. Hey, son, blah 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 blah." Next thing I know, pow. Mm-hmm. Pow. But I'm the type of person that's always looking for help. Yeah. Like if I know you're knowledgeable, right, bro, help me out. Right. You see, like if I see your son struggling in something that I got some knowledge in, right, I'm going, hey, bro, try this. Yeah. I was like, hey, do this instead of what you're doing. Because I'm for every kid. You know what I'm saying? Like some kids catch on quicker than others, but I'm for every kid succeeding. I'm not coaching you unless I'm not coaching you hard. I'm sorry. Like, I had to tell my basketball players, like, look, they fourth graders this year. Tell them, like, look, I'm going to be yelling at y'all. I'm going to be screaming. And I'm going to get frustrated. But I love y'all. Like, I'm not mad at y'all. I'm frustrated, but I'm coaching y'all to be the best basketball players you can be and the best teammates you can be. So when you hear my voice raised, you better get used to it. But that's just how I coach. And building a relationship with my team, you know what I'm saying, helps it come over a whole lot better. Now, I'm not like Bobby Knight was, and then like that where I'm kicking chairs over and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But I am passionate. You feel me? You got to be a little passionate.
But you know, you just said something. It's all based on relationship. Yeah. Because a relationship, once that is established, then comes the trust. Yeah. If the trust is there are certain things that you can say to those students or to those players that other people can't say. That's simply because you have a relationship with them. I've sat with them. I've talked with them. I've been emotional with them. I've been transparent with them. I let them know, hey, I'm not perfect. Yeah. I've sat down in a chair with them. We look eye to eye rather than standing up over them, preaching at them, making them think that I'm all perfect and everything in my life has always been wonderful. But I've been transparent. That trust and that bond and that relationship is there. So there are things you could say to them like, hey, come here.
Yeah, because they know.
No, couldn't well. But there are students that you can't attack in that way, or you
yes,
can't respond to in that way because this student has been abused. So you've got to handle them a little differently.
Yeah.
And this student over here, well, they didn't have this or they didn't have that. Well, you got to handle that student a different way.
You can't coach every kid the same.
Cannot.
And I've learned that. I can't even coach my youngest son like I coach my oldest boy.
Exactly.
My oldest boy, I can get at him, challenge him, boom, he step up. My youngest, when he first started training, we was at the playground down. There's a big field in our neighborhood. We was down there hitting some balls and stuff, and I was, getting at him.
Mm-hmm.
And that joker put the bat down and walked to the playground. I'm like, where you going? It was like 3 years ago. So he's what, 7? He was probably like 4 or 5 years old. He was like, I ain't doing this. Just put the bat down and walked away. I looked at my wife like, oh yeah, this gonna be. I gotta train him. I can't coach him the same. But I mean, and see, that's why I tell parents when we having our parent meeting, they'll tell me stuff like, coach my kid like you coach yours. I was like, no. Mm-hmm. The relationship, I can't coach nobody like I coach my sons. Mm-hmm. I can come close, but nobody gets it like my sons gets it. Right. My wife was like, because I'm the offensive coordinator for the tackle football team for my youngest boy, and he's at quarterback, and I got a play design, man. He got a touchdown. I mean, a 40, 50-yard touchdown, easy touchdown. He get caught from the behind by a lineman that's way bigger than him. And I'm like, hold up. Was you running full speed? Why are you running full speed? I just get off the field. Get off the field. In front of the whole, everybody heard me. But it's like, I love him. But I'm like, dude, right. I set you up and you did not show up. You did not meet the requirements, not for what I've had placed in you, but what you've shown me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So for that, get out my game. One of the head coach gets him over there, you know what I'm saying? He coaches him up, passes him on the back, about 3 plays, let him send him on back in. Yeah. The next game, played against the same team, called the same play. He take it 40 yards for a touchdown. So I'm like, dude, like I shouldn't have to fuss at you and yell at you to bring that out of you. Right. But sometimes it's needed.
Responded.
Yeah. So,
and the difference is you knew the potential that was there.
Yes.
And I remember me and Miss Miles was meeting with a student a couple of semesters ago, and this student just refused to do the work. She kept coming to me. I was like, Miss Miles, is he okay? I don't know if he could. And she said, no, he can do it. So I knew then, okay, I got to take another. Okay, so we got him in the office and we talked to him. And he, broke down into tears, and we finally got to the point where, well, it's got to be done. Right, we got to do it. So wipe the tears.
There you go.
All right, go back to class and do the work.
You can cry while you're doing the work.
Exactly.
It just needs to be done.
Oh man, 2 plus 2 but that student ended up. He gave up his whole act. Like, okay, I just do the work, and then he ended up living up to the potential that Miss Miles had already said he had. 2 months later,
we don't know when it's gonna click.
Absolutely.
Just like even with us, we didn't know when we were gonna change and become different and become better and become more mature.
Right.
Something clicked.
Right.
Whether somebody exposed you to something, a book, you came across a video, a person, somebody sowed a seed, you heard something somewhere, and it penetrated your heart, penetrated your soul. Now it's like, you know what? I want to be that person. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or it takes somebody seeing something in you and calling out of you. And then now it's like, you know what? He right or she right. Let me try hard. It's an effort thing. Yeah. And that's one thing I'm big on. I can't coach effort, but I will run the crap out of you until I get it. Like real talk. Because I am big on, if you don't cheat life won't cheat you. Right. Okay, so I got a kid on my football team. He's not the most athletic kid, but he's the first one in sprints. He's the first one in conditioning. He's the first one to the line to do every drill there is. He is the hardest working kid. He's one of the better kids, but he's just not the most athletic kid, right? We get in the game against our rivalry, the best team we played this year to save our season. We're going undefeated. This kid is playing defensive end. He gets held, thrown to the ground. That's holding. They didn't call it. He gets up off the ground, picks himself up, and chases the guy down and makes a touchdown saving tackle, saves the game. game-winning tackle after he had been held and he'd hawked the kid all the way down. The kid that he hawked down was way faster than him. But when I tell you, because he doesn't cheat the game at practice, he gets rewarded with special plays in the game. Okay. And that's how I coach all my kids. My kids and the kids on the team. Like, no, we getting at it. We're not gonna cheat life. You know, I'm teaching you life skills. And don't get me wrong, I have made plenty of mistakes. So when I'm teaching you, hey, y'all best believe I'm coming from this background. Like, boy, I know. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't do it, I had a friend or a cousin that did it.
Yeah, whatever it takes, right? That whole mentality. I think it was, I don't know if it was Colonel Sanders, Dr. Seuss, or Einstein, but somebody said, you know, they were asked a question in an interview. They were like, you know, how does it feel to fail 1,199 times? It's like, I didn't fail at all. It was just a 2,000 step process.
Come on.
It's always that, what's that next step? What is that one thing that I could say to a parent? What is that one thing that I could do for a kid? What is that one thing that if I buy these diapers for this mom, does that solve that problem? I'm just sitting in my office thinking of stuff all day. What if we bought them something? Let's take them out to eat. Ice cream, let's go. You know, just whatever it takes to motivate them, inspire them, and encourage them at that moment that's going to be the changing agent for their lives. Yeah. What if that changes for the rest of their lives? What if it just takes, good morning? What if it just takes, how you doing? What if it just takes, boy, you better, what if it just, what's that one thing that it takes? And what if we're the vessel that's supposed to give that? What if we're the ones that are supposed to initiate that?
Yeah. And like you said earlier, it's so much easier for them to receive it once they know where we're coming from. And I mean, like, I've seen it through the Rescue Me Project and just through coaching these kids, man. Once you build a relationship with you, they look at you different. Like when they see you out, it's like, man, I want to go up and hug. Like this one kid, I don't care what he see me at, he gonna come give me a hug every time. And I'm like, and it's like, he's a little white dude. So I'm around a whole bunch of black folks. He come up and give me a hug. They look at me like, I'm like, hey, it's all love, you know what I'm saying? Like, but see, kids are so innocent, you know, and when and we have to make sure we try to protect that innocence as we, you know, counseling them and mentoring them and teaching and training them and things like that. Anything else before we move on to the next one?
Just said, then that's how they show appreciation. That one kid that shows up every day and gives everybody a hard time every day is the one that you'll see in Walmart 10 years later saying, man, thank you so much for what you did for me. I don't even remember you, but thank you for what you did for me, you know. And so every day, you never know what you could say. You never know what you were doing that can make all the difference in the world for somebody. Yeah.
And see, that's why you said a lot of stuff, triggers stuff in my head. So that's why I tell people, like, don't act a certain way, be it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to act kind. I want that to be me. I want to be kind. So therefore, I ain't acting. So when somebody say, literally acting like, man, why you so nice? Why you so kind? Like, I don't know. I just am. So now it's not effort. Now it's just done subconsciously. It's like there's not gonna be a day that goes by where I'm not gonna compliment somebody, where I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying, hug, embrace somebody, notice something that somebody else don't notice. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, I'm not trying to get no brownie points, but I'm trying to make sure that you know that you are seen, that you are special. You know what I'm saying? And that you deserve. Right. You know what I'm saying? For somebody to notice you, you know, in a respectful way. Yeah. But that's just something that I do. You may find that you like to speak and talk and good morning to everybody, bringing that energy in the moment. You say high five them, whatever it may be. You know, I don't know how we got on it again. I says that's good. That's good, moving, man. You're going there. Y'all got quiet on us. I ain't doing that, but feeding off this guy over here. Like I said, you better get the mic back in your hand and grab that mic. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question. All right, it says, what makes your counseling techniques particularly effective for students?
Everything y'all said before. No, I'm kidding. We build trust and we build relationships. We build that rapport from the beginning and we set clear boundaries from the beginning. And then we're really on purpose about engaging them in very unique ways, depending on the needs of the kids. So we try to set a standard and an expectation, and trust is huge. I speak of that enough, and then build those relationships and engage them. So what that engagement looks like, I told you about the different facilitators, so we won't beat that with the dead horse, but also being intentional and being creative with different strategic strategies. I'm always on the phone with people, so I'm asking insights. I'm researching online cognitive behavioral therapy exercises, group exercises that works with teens with anxiety, just doing a lot of research to be on purpose about what we engage. For instance, I did an anger topic before, and I took them outside and the different types of anger. So I had some eggs, I had some hot sauce, I had a Coke, and I had a water gun. And I said, what do all these things have in common? The student's like, I don't know. I said, well, grab that egg. And we start doing an egg toss, right? And I was like, grab that water. And we start doing water balloon and water gun fighting. And I said, the egg is that delicate, sensitive type of anger. And the water gun is an intimidation type of anger. And the Coke is explosive anger, and trying to make it real and tangible to them that this is what your anger translates to with real life examples. So being creative, thinking outside the box, any and all things that we can do to make the topic come home. And then what did you take away? So we don't just talk for an hour and a half or 2 hours, engage and play games. Now you tell me how the topic applied to your life, or what something you learned. We call it their exit ticket. What did you get out of what we talked about today? Because these people aren't coming every day, spending 2 hours a day free time to invest in you for nothing. So we're encouraging them to take notes and have their journal so they can reference that stuff back. They have a folder with all of their printouts, again, so they can reference that and they can take that with them. So when you're at home and you're struggling with your anger and you remember, crap, I'm being explosive right now, like that water gun or that Coke, let me use my calm down techniques. Let me breathe. So engaging, being creative, thinking outside the box, and building that trust, so that hopefully that they can apply it.
That's good. I can tell you know your stuff. Like real talk, like you can tell you know your stuff. Like you just spitting that stuff out, rolling different stuff, and like I said, you can just feel the passion. That you can see the knowledge.
Thanks.
And that's refreshing, because it's like when I think of SPAN now, it's like I see the faces that, and now I can see the heart behind it too. So like these kids are really being touched.
We're trying.
And that's all you can do.
Right.
Max effort. Anybody else want to comment on that before we move on? You don't have to. I mean, if you ain't got nothing, you just ain't got nothing. she pretty much knocked it out.
One thing that she
does, God dog.
Yo, she killed it. Knocked it out. She stays up on the latest everything. And that's always important. The latest research, the latest peer-reviewed journals. It's just so good, man. She'll call and talk to somebody. Hey, listen, you've got a PhD in this. What are we seeing? What are we looking at? And
good.
Man, so yeah, always staying on the forefront of what's new, what's the latest thing out there. We don't do it like that anymore. We'll do it like this. Oh, they don't use Ritalin anymore, so it's this. So just staying. So when she was saying cognitive research, and that's so important.
Well, like I said, spot on. Go ahead.
Sorry, and being relative. We haven't talked about our ages in here, but I'll be 40 in December. The kids don't think that, though. They all think I'm 20 something, but stay with me. Our generation is very different than theirs. And because it's different doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. So relative is key too. I'm sorry. I did not want to miss that. There are so many things that, personal preference, I just don't enjoy. But for these kids, tell me more and let me research, because if that's going to engage you and that's going to help our rapport, then anime it is. Woo. Freaky Friday. Woo. Whatever, floats their boat, but that excites them. And we use that too. They do in the educational component. Okay, this was what motivate them to get the work done. So we're going to use that as an incentive. We're going to use that as an award. We're going to use that as a motivator or push the needle mark. So being relative, being able to set personal preference and personal biases aside. Some of the girls and guys, sometimes we come in our office, or Miss Miles and I will pull them and we just have girl talk, and they want to talk about all the things. And it's like, ooh, okay. But we talked about makeup, we talked about hair, we talked about clothing, we talked about those things, because that's what stimulates the child. And oftentimes we find in our individual counseling that all they want to do is talk. Just talk, to be able to have somebody that they can confide in, to have somebody that they can bounce ideas on, to have somebody to vent to. That's it. Just having a person present for them, because mommy and daddy are at work all the time, or mommy and daddy are a little bit older, grandparents are older, and they just don't have anybody to connect with. So being relative and putting my inhibitions and my personal preferences or biases aside, and really getting on that child's level to get them where they need to go.
That's good. I like that. You spot on, girl. You sound like counselor of the year. Counselor of the year. God, dog. You like the MJ of the counseling game in this world. Shoot.
All the time. You
Hey,
he said,
I'm just saying, well, he on to something.
no.
Real talk. Like I said, you can just tell that you guys are really passionate. You guys really care about these kids. And like I said, that is refreshing to know that there's people out there that actually care about, they're not just getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
You know, so that is what's up. And you guys may not hear it enough.
Thank you.
But great job. Like, great job.
You know,
Great
you
job.
just
Let's keep it up.
gotta be able to, and I say this, you gotta be able to play smarter people than you are around you, so that things could get done. That's what it is.
And it's not necessarily always that they are smarter than you. They're smarter in a certain area than you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not good with tech, I'm not finna go over here and fool with all these wires. Like, let's find somebody that we know that's good with tech. Hey, I mean, that's one of the things with being a great leader. You got to know how to delegate. And you got to also know how to step behind the scenes sometimes and be behind everybody. And then sometimes you got to step out in front and lead. And then sometimes you just right beside them. You know, so, and it's easy to follow somebody when they operate like that.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot easier. And it's also easy to follow somebody when you see the grind that they have with the program. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dwayne never got a question. Like, this dude is going to grind.
Yeah.
And whatever he say, by the time he called me and was like, hey, Zo, tell me what you think about this. I come to the center, he already got it done.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you just told me about the new podcast room. I come in like a day later. He done got to start painting carpet on the floor. He don't play. He don't play. So it's easy to follow somebody when you see the passion that they have, when you see the care they have for the kids. We talk a lot. We was like, bro, what? Like, you was talking about a successor. If someone was to happen to you and you was to quit or leave, or the span would still go on. I'm like, bro, like, if something happened to Dwayne, I don't know. if he say he don't want to do it, I'm like, bro, who gonna do this? There's a lot of effort this man be putting in. So, but anyways, like I said, it's refreshing to see what you guys are doing, to hear what you guys are doing, the passion you guys have behind it. So thank you guys. I got one last question for you, and then we'll kind of, chit chat and we'll be done. So the last question I got for you guys is, how do you measure success? We kind of talked about this earlier, but how do you measure success for the youth involved in your program? How do you measure success?
Well, we live in the instant world, right? Instant gratification is the biggest thing. I can speak for myself. I'm watching TikToks. TikToks are longer than 15 minutes. I'm getting bored. I'm impatient. I'm swiping. So I would like to see that in a student. I want to see instant results, instant progress, but that's unrealistic. So, and also this job teaches me patience, because what I do today, I might not see the results at the end of the day, or even tomorrow, or at the end of this week. But I still have to do my best job, because I know that someday those results will show. That progress I will see, that success will be there. And that's why we go to graduations. For the kids that were at our program 5 years ago, it's like, what's the name? Who are you?
Wow.
But we're still there for them. So that's the progress. That's the success. So we measure instant successes. We measure short-term goal success, and we measure long-term success.
Okay, so do you guys have...
It's very different success measurement for us.
So do y'all have like goals already set and they have to hit them? Or is it just like, oh, I just checked, you just hit this mark, or is it already set in stone?
Absolutely. We have long-term goals and we have short-term goals.
Okay.
And this is how the life is. You have a big, huge goal, a big, huge dream. But what is going to take you to get to that dream? These are the steps. So you have to go through those steps. Well, you took step one. Great job. Wonderful. Let's go on to the second one. But that road can be years and years long.
Okay. So
that's how we...
Anybody else want to comment on that before we close it out?
It's okay. So
How do you measure success as a counselor in the counselor's role?
Well, we have our SPAN program. All of our students, when they come in, they have the 14 points of success.
Okay.
You said measure success. That is our measuring tool, like she said. And on those are short-term, long-term goals. So punctuality. Hey, that student is here every day. That's a goal because to be in our program, you're court adjudicated, and the minimum requirement is that you have to be here. Because you and your mom and dad or whoever signed off on that court order from the judge, and that's the minimum requirement. You have to be here every day to get it. Then we measure their interactions with other students, their academic progress, their behavioral progress. Are they being independently owned in the classroom, right? Are they being a self-starter, or does this student need a little bit more motivation? And at the end of their term, whenever that is, semester-based, based off those 14 points, based off of our overall goals in that measurable, let's say this student is passed successfully. This student needs a little bit more work. They may need to stay a little bit longer. Or this student needs a little bit more services. We may need to reach out to some community partners to get them aids. We also are, I don't know if you want to bring it up, like as overall success is through our state. He told you earlier, we're with the Department of Youth Services, and they measure based off the amount of students that we have that come in.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually have measurables. When they leave out, what of that ratio was successful, meaning that they did the minimum requirements that we needed for them to move on with their life. And we normally at SPAN measure around about the 90th percentile.
Wow, that's what's up.
And that is students returning to school, GED, or job.
That's awesome.
So that we want to set you up somewhere.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
And no longer being involved in the court system.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Anything? Hold up. Let's do this. Tell them where they can find you guys at.
Oh, awesome.
Well, we are at 610 West College Street, Florence, Alabama. We're actually in several different locations statewide. We have 7 programs in the state. We're in the North Alabama area. So in order to get in contact with us, it would be best to go to alspan.org. That's alspan.org, and it'll take you straight to our website, show you all the various locations that we have as well, and how they all operate.
And Facebook, social media, anything?
We are on Facebook, absolutely. Lauderdale SPAN and SPAN of Lauderdale County, if I'm not mistaken, 2 Facebook pages as well.
All right. Anything else before we close out?
Well, there's no magic to what we do. It's just a bunch of loving adults working with other loving adults, working with other loving adults, trying to make success happen for the young people.
All right. Well, you guys have heard it. That was SPAN. We thank you guys for joining us on tonight's episode, man. It truly was a blessing. And I just hope you guys have continued success. Hope you guys continue to make major impact. And we're always willing to connect with you guys. And we'll see you guys in the future. All right. That's our time. We logging off here with the Rescue Me Project. Well, actually, it is the Rescue Me Project, but it's the Elevated Chat Room. Elevate your mind. Elevate your life. We out.